Alright, hello everyone, it's time for another art stream. We're doing more arts this morning. I know I missed more of Chrono Trigger on Saturday or Friday, but that's fine, because I was doing some birthday stuff that day, and yesterday too. I saw the back rooms and it was really fun. I'm glad I went. But today, we're doing art stuff. And in particular, I'm still working on this this one-shot comic. Not one-shot the game, just one-shot as in it only has one. And I'm doing fills right now, so it kind of looks like I'm drawing everything gray, but that's because it's going to be colored in later. Just got to get the actual shapes down first. Because this is a nice, easy breezy thing to work on. And I'm making progress on this, and it's fun. This is going to be like a whole crap ton of layers by the time I'm done. Have I ever tried drawing on paper? I don't know if you know how old I am, but I was drawing before the internet existed. Like, before any of that happened. So I have been drawing since I was like a child, and that was decades ago at this point, so yes. I have drawn on paper a lot. That is what I did for pretty much all of my childhood, was draw on paper. I do it digitally because it's usually faster. Why don't I prefer it? Because this is faster. I do like drawing on paper. I should do it more often. Do it a little bit now and then. But I do like this because it's faster, and I do like the fact that I have control over my my layers and such, whereas when you're doing stuff traditionally, you have to do a lot more extensive planning, especially if you want to like color stuff and all that stuff. Undos are very useful. Hurt my eyes? No. It does not hurt my eyes. I have, like, I don't work in the dark. I like a lot of light. I have a big old balcony right next to me that has a lot of sunlight coming in. I ain't like them editors that are, like, working in the dark constantly. I also like it to be light, so I have a lot of natural light in my room. I also, one of the reasons I regularly get up and stretch, aside from taking care of my wrist, is that I also then look outside, like at the outside, and that helps my eyes. I'm sure I'll have to worry about that in the future, because I do look at screens constantly throughout the day for various reasons. I'm always on screens. But I do try and not do it for hours constantly at a time. Make sure I take a break and just, look at actual things. Look at things outside in the distance. That's good for you. Put on a hat, it's good for you. Yeah, I don't think my screen is at max brightness. Also, like, generally speaking, the digital tablet screen that I'm drawing on it's not as bright as, like, other screens. Does not hurt my eyes to look at. Don't feel left out. Drawing traditionally is very fun, and you can get some really cool stuff with it. Hello, thank you for coming. Yeah, I don't have a timer set, so you don't have it going off constantly, but when I'm normally working, I do have a timer where I get up every half hour and I stretch for like 5-10 minutes. Hello, thank you for coming. Again, we are doing the fill section before we do the colors. Gotta do the fills. And fills are nice and easy breezy. Don't require much brain power, so I can chat and yap. I'm not quite done with backgrounds yet, but I at least made progress on them. I'm slowly getting backgrounds done. Not that difficult, because a lot of it's like the black and white Mother 1 looking stuff, but there's a couple in there that I'll have to spend a little bit more time on, but not a lot. What are my thoughts on Kris Dreamer and Noelle Holiday? It's cute, because Kris spelled their names wrong. They were trying, they spelled their names wrong, and that's cute. Like this kind of rough, like, what's this brush called? Oil Heavy Flow Dry Edges. I don't think this is an oil brush, but whatever. Oh, how was the concert? I hope it was fun. Yeah, I saw a movie yesterday with friends, and then we went and got ramen, and it was really good. Both the movie and the ramen. Yeah, I'm glad you think these streams are chill. I like doing them, because they are chill. And they're fun. I'm going to be doing a thing later today, also Deltarune related. Some kind of interview for a podcast, so I'll let you know when that's done. I know, I haven't had ramen in forever, like, you know, good ramen, not like, you know, instant ramen or anything like that. But I was like, okay, if we're gonna go see the movie, and the movie theater's like in the mall, I don't know if I really want mall food. Is there anything else nearby that looks good? And there was like, oh, there's a ramen place like right by the mall. And I haven't been there yet, but it looks tasty, so we went there and it was really good. You're getting through all the playthroughs. Still gotta finish up the one with friends, although he's gotta arrange a time for it. Sometime in August, hopefully. Because some people are gonna be out of the country for a bit. Cammy Boy? No, it's not Cammy Boy. Different one. It's also not, yeah, it was, I know Andrew Cunningham was on it, and along with, like, Dorked as well. I left a comment there, and I was like, oh, yay, fun, and they're like, oh, we could do something with you, and so I was like, oh, yay, fun, so we've been talking about that. We gotta do that today. But, it wasn't with Cammy. Well, Cammy Boy might have been on it. No, I don't think they were. They weren't on it. At least not the pre-5 podcast. So, maybe vaguely related. It wasn't like the survey program one, which is a different one. I do like that one. There's been some good ones. I was gonna yap about thoughts. I also feel kind of bad. I got a thing in my ask box. Somebody's asking me, oh, you gotta promote the Tumblr Sexy Man contest for Tina. Like, we're so close to the push. Like, have everybody's hard work pay off. And I'm just sitting here like, I voted for Senshi. I'm sorry. I voted for Senshi. Like, Tina's fine and all. But I don't know. Maybe it's just like, as a day one Suzelle fan, I'm a little like, okay, the TV man. Let's go Senshi. I love me Senshi. I think Tina will be fine. Oh, wait, yeah, I already filled that in. I am the traitor. Talk to me when Queen's on the ballot. Then I'll make sure she wins. I'm sorry, I think Queen's better than Tina. Even though she's not a sexy man. Like, I get why people, like, Senshi or, Tina, 'cause I get why people see both of them hot. I get it, even as an arrow ace. I'm just kind of like, Tina, I'm a little tired of you. Right, I'm gonna work on Ralsei. We're gonna have to divide up a bunch of layers for these guys. Do you think that Flowery is better than Queen? No, I think Queen's better. Sorry. Flowery's great. I love all the flowers. There is nobody I dislike, but Queen's better. In terms of, like, I think who should get fandom attention, I guess. Yeah, Queen doesn't need help. She can just hack the poll. True. So I saw I was on the poll for Tumblr Sexy Man. And as we all know, the best sexy man is actually me, a queen. So I've hacked the poll. And now I will win. Fair and square. Which is pretty much exactly what she would do. With her own powers. With her giant robot. There is at the very least, like, substance there for Tina. Perhaps I'm just, like... Perhaps I'm just unfairly biased because I feel like it's all centered on, like, Tina spam Tina stuff. And I'm like, I don't care for it. I don't care. I ain't gonna be mad at people for shipping it, like, that's fine. But I just don't care how, like, much it's taken over things. I guess that makes it a proper Tumblr sexy man, though. That's pretty much what happened with, like, the various Sanses. Do I have any plan to make an update video on the half-human Susie theory? I don't know if I would have enough for it. Like, we can add all the stuff from Chapter 5 that was in, but that wouldn't be a very long video. Unless I, uh-oh. Did that thing again. Unless I, like, actually try and tackle blood lore, which I'm sure everybody loves. Yeah, to each their own. But I don't know how to answer that question now because I'm like, well, I already voted. I voted for Senshi. Sorry. I just kind of want Senshi to win. Meanwhile, poor real person Rylan Grace is in there, and I'm like, does this count? Doesn't it need to be like a cartoon? But okay. He's not a cartoon. He's an actual guy. Senshi from Dungeon Meshi. Delicious in Dungeon. One of the best characters in Dungeon Meshi. I liked him a lot. Okay. I guess I might need to... I'm gonna use the same gray for all of this. For Susie back there. And she's probably... Yeah, he's the dwarf from Dungeon Meshi who does all the cooking. But again, it feels a little weird to have like a real person in a Tumblr sexy man post. I kind of feel like maybe one of the criteria should be either animated or cartoon or whatever, but maybe not. Maybe I'm being pedantic. Yep. Yupper dupper. But I guess we'll see. I mean, Tenor will probably win. I'm pretty sure, like, right now they're just kind of like, actually, I'll probably just go a little over and we can mask this out later. I think right now they're kind of neck and neck. But yeah, I don't know what I would add to a half-human Susie theory video. Update so far, except for, yeah, the stuff we got in chapter 5, and then will I tackle the dreaded blood lore? My answer to that basically being, like, I think monsters are physical, but also don't have blood. That's the answer. But, we'll see. Honestly, what I want to make a video... I want to, like, make a video on Deltarune's themes. I kind of feel like people are making all these assumptions about what the themes are and are getting it wrong. Now, I keep seeing, like, escapism is a theme in Deltarune. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not. You're wrong. Less AU and kind of more in the vein of, like, the previous ones I did, like, Deal with the Devil and that kind of, like, prediction comic on where I think things might go. This is like a late chapter 7 kind of deal going on. Right. Susie's mostly hidden behind them, but I'm trying to make sure we get all of her covered. Her hair is in the way. We gotta do the wings on Noelle too. Oh, of course Glitchtail did that. Did some wacko thing. And something like that, of course. The whole, like, I mean, not the whole problem, but one of the problems with Glitchtail was like, hey, we have all these, you know, monsters with monster magic. We're not going to talk about that, though. This is about the human magic and all the magic the humans can do. You know, the thing humans are known for, doing magic. Like, we're going to do all that. We're gonna assign you your Hogwarts house based on your soul color. I guess if you want to make this an anime, that's how it would go. Yeah. Susie, where are you? We need some help from you now. I know that AU was very popular back in the day. What did they say in the review? It was a little rough for me to watch in some senses because I'm like, okay, the effects animation on this is really great. There's really good effects animation timing and stuff like that. The stuff with, you know, blast effects and water, that all looks really nice. Why are these backgrounds so bad? Like, please hire a background artist. Please. Why do all of the characters follow, like, anime, you know, good grief, what are those things? Like those little, stick figure things you're supposed to follow. I guess you can't get mad at, you know, the thing that got you started on art, you know? One of the plot holes and stuff. It is hard to keep a series going in that vein. Yeah, that's another thing I've seen as a problem was just the creator was really toxic. Plus, apparently let, like, a predator into their group, which, let's not do that, my dudes. Yeah, the awful stuff about... Yeah, I don't think they were a predator, but, like, they had somebody, like, on staff that was, so, bad. Very bad. Which, you know, if you're gonna leave for a reason, that's fair. That kind of sucks, though, because especially if it's something that was, like, you know, really formative to you, it got you, you know, interested in doing art and stuff like that, and then you know, get smacked in the face with that kind of thing. That's crummy. It's crummy. I'm sorry that happened. This is gonna be a fun dealy-doo to draw. Also, we got a fresh new page for doodles today. Deltarune saved you! Yay! Yay! Toby's like, I got my own AU, but in actuality, it was Undertale that was the AU all along! Surprise! Flying with Suzelle Airport. True. Big dragon wings, or one angel wing, one dragon wing on the plane. Yeah, we can move on from thatness. The perils of fandom. They're full of people who could be good people or could be not so good people. And sometimes they change from one to the other. And you don't even know. It was Sans Deltarune all... people are still calling him Sans Undertale when it was Sans Deltarune all along. Oh, the irony. Susie, we're gonna crash! Awesome! Alright, is that everybody on this page? They are... Yeah, this is a kind of an intro page. Sans Deltarune. Okay, got that. Let's move on to second page. Susie D. Gaster. I don't know why that one bothers the heck out of me. Maybe because I got sent that one, like, oh yeah, I don't need another layer yet. I got sent that one, like, Google Doc text dump thing that was just, like, all my least favorite ways of theorizing. And I'm like, if you were trying to sell me on this, you did not succeed. I know it's mostly, like, shitpost kind of style stuff, but... You know what? It is totally fair to love dog shit. That's fine. They gave me the Deltarune files. And I'm like, I can't read these worth crap. Why are you talking about the color significance of, like, purple and magenta? Why is this happening? My dog needs to stop eating it. Oh, you were talking about different files. That was not what I was talking about. people usually would... never mind. I'm not going to make that joke. Bad jokes. We're stopping there. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming. We're working on... I'm doing fills, basically character fills for this one-shot comic, which is not one-shot the game. It is... I feel like I have to clarify that every time. It's not the game. It's just one-shot as in not part of a series. Unless I get inspiration for more later like that, but probably unlikely. I gotta get back to Eldertune. People are like, can you draw flowery? And I'm like, not if you keep asking! Especially since I'm really like, I really want to finish this before chapter 6. Oh. Ew. Yeah, what's the difference between ooh like U's and ooh's like O's? There is a difference. It's hard to articulate it. I do like this brush. Aqua's so cute, even though she kicks my ass so much. She's probably like the one flower that kicked my ass the most. Unless you count Flowery. But even then, in the Flowery fight, she was still the one that I struggled the most with, so... Why, Murder Child? Why must you be so adorable but so difficult to fight? Aqua and Ori. Interesting. They both seem kind of childlike, though. Maybe that's why people haven't picked up on it much. I died a lot to Aqua. What is that thing back there? Okay. Yeah, pink makes sense. Flowery was, like, annoying. Nothing is more eldritch and noble than the anime twink. True. True, true. I died a ton to Aqua. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because, like, in that first fight, solo fight with Kris, like, they're sponging up all the damage. So, easier for them to go down in fewer hits. Meanwhile, those other guys got to fight little Floridans. Is the same. I'm sure I'll think of something. I probably won't draw, like, a scene with him. But, you know, a design will be nice at some point. But I just don't know when that's going to happen. It'll happen when I'm like, oh, I want to do that. That's when it'll happen. And people are still like, we want you to do it right now. And I'm like, this makes me want to do it less. They're not scary. They're cute. I like their Deltarune cells. I think they're cuties. Design for 8 characters is a lot. Especially in Eldertune. Yeah, I'll do something for Flowery. It's like, well, what about these? What about green? What about blue? It's kind of interesting how, like, blue was, like, also the only one with a portrait. Why does blue get a portrait? Aside from the fact that, you know, he's so pretty, but... Think a mouse with boxing gloves is scary? Would you rather meet a boxer who's the size of a mouse or a mouse with boxing gloves on? I don't know. How come Garrison didn't get a portrait? I don't know. He was too cool for school. It's for the butterfly gag? I do love the butterfly gag with the angry face. You're gonna make Mr. Butterfly very angry. They're like, ah! Yeah, that's true. A portrait may have spoiled his nature. They had to keep it secret. Even though everybody's like, Garrison! Not me, though. I was like, wait, Alvin? It was not Alvin. The proper weapon for a mouse is a sword, and that is true. If you give a mouse a weapon, it should be a sword. Talk sounds? I don't know. Huh, that would be weird. I feel like we've got like a Pleasantville thing going on there that I can't quite explain. It's if you give a mouse a cookie, but if you do give a mouse a weapon, it should be a sword. Because, like, Redwall and Okami and stuff like that. I guess we can make an exception for Mina the Hollower. Sword or whip. Besides, Orange is not a mouse, she's a human. They can have boxing gloves. Who do you think opened the first fountain? Oh, you mean like for Castletown? Or you mean like long, long ago? I don't know. Maybe it was Kris. Like the one of the incident I think they're talking about. I'll go back and do a Susie in a later one. Inconsistent in what way? You mean like in gameplay stuff? Because yeah, that'll change. Dojo to Wayside, true. I think perhaps the lesson there is that we're like, oh, we'll be able to tell what something is based on, you know, this thing. Like the character has a portrait. It turns out, apparently not. This Caddy's had nothing to do, except for be sad that her crush has a different crush. Yeah, Toby does drop ideas. It happened. Sometimes there's a new shiny. I think I might need to turn off the... Yeah. Let's see what I'm doing. Turn off the halo. Noelle's crashing out? Yes and no. I mean, I assume we will get an explanation for that later. Either it was closed or it wasn't. We are still, learning about that. I could see that happening. She did get spooked out of it. She didn't actually stick around for the rest of the thing. Alright, I'm gonna do the thorn ring later. Try not to do that right now. I mean, it could be the bunker. We don't know. We don't know when exactly it happened, just that it was some time ago. It could still be there. It could have been closed. We don't know. Would she like Mew Mew? I don't know. I don't know if she's that big of an anime buff. She likes her horror compilations more. Now you are the horror compilation. I think it's implied that she got spooked. Because she's like, oh, I had to apologize for leaving you to do it alone. The implication that I got from there is that she got scared and she left. Not that she, like, had to run out and do something. She went in a little bit over her head. A breakdown. We still don't know what the evil group chat is up to. Honestly, like, if I have any complaints about Chapter 5 story, it's that it feels like things that you know, we had his mysteries, we kind of got less clarity on, like, what is the conspiracy group doing? What is, you know, Carol's role in this? We have less clarity. How does the night work? We have less clarity. For better or worse. Like, I don't even mind those things not getting answered now. It just kind of feels like, oh, we got additional questions on top of it. And, that'll probably all make sense by the end. But in the meanwhile, it's kind of like, I don't even know what to do with this. Ha 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 ha. I was talking about Caddy. Not Noelle. I don't think it was a lack of build-up. I do think it's just like, okay, we have gotten new information, but it's not clear, like, how this information fits in with what we knew previously. Or stuff like, okay, what's the final prophecy? Still not clear. So I don't think it's a lack of build-up so much as just like, yeah, I don't really know what to do with this new information we have. Which might be why people are kind of flailing around trying all kinds of weird ideas. It's possible. It's possible. He's not really not much of a world builder. For better or worse. At the very least, I do not think he's as much of a like, timeline stuff. He does not care about that. And I still find it really interesting, him talking about, like, oh, when I write a character, I consider their role in the story first. Especially funny for Deltarune, considering this is a story about how roles are bad. So I'm curious how that will all be resolved. Yeah, I don't like that either. Oh, I gotta take a stretch break. Just realized. It's stretch break time. Like, I don't think Friend is, like, the end-all be-all of things or anything like that. Actually, I might talk about this in the interview stuff, but, I kind of have my own thoughts on what Friend represents now based on what we've gotten in Chapter 5. And I don't think it's at all what most people think about with Friend. But if I'm gonna tie it back into, like, thematic stuff, I've got kind of Friend in a different place right now, even just based on this new lore drop, which is kind of funny. Yeah, I'm dreading both of those, to be honest. People are already way too mean to Kris. Yeah, traitor! I'm like, that is a depressed teenager. Stop beefing with them. The fact that they're doing bad things and feel like, you know, they deserve bad things happening to them is interesting. It's a problem that can be solved with friendship and stuff. No, I don't think that's true at all, Mango. I think that's just a bad reading of it. It's not mystery box crap. I think this is an actual story being told. It's not a puzzle to solve. It's not a vehicle for lore. That's why you need to take careful breaks. That's why you gotta look after your wrist. Don't do repetitive actions too much. It's kind of hard to say, like, oh, this chapter focuses on this character, and this chapter focuses on this character. They all do various things to advance the characters, but I'm sure that we'll be getting more info on Kris in 6 and 7. Maybe I don't care about the vessel. I don't understand why people are like, I want my vessel back. I'm like, I don't care. That was a shell. I want these characters. I want to see what they do. If it's just like a means for me to run around, I can do that in another game. I don't think the vessel has feelings about anything. Maybe it's just my own thing. I've never been really good at, like, you know, kind of coming up with a character for RPGs and stuff like that. Like, build your own character, and I'm like, well, what's their role in the story? I'm sure we'll get more on deaths in Chapter 6, especially if, Chapter 6 does take us to, the Holiday Manor, which I think it will. Yeah, Kris is spinning these plates. They can't do it forever. It's gonna go crashing down. Control 7 again. I think we're switching control to Susie. I think that's what's been set up. Way more than the vessel thing. I think Susie's been set up. All right, I will be right back for one more stretch and water and stuff. Alrighty, I'm back for more. I'm back for more. Yeah, I think Susie suspects. I think Susie suspects but does not want to entertain the thought, but she suspects something. That's the thing. Why would the vessel do that? Why would the vessel do that? What does the vessel care? We made that up. This is if it's supposed to be something that's like, oh, this is you, this is your body, why would it care unless you told it to do that? It does not have thoughts. It does not have feelings about anything. Because it's supposed to be you. So unless you are mad about it, then what does the vessel care? It is like a piece for you to move around. That's why I'm just not very interested in, like, that's boring. I want the actual characters. Yeah, I think Susie suspects something in regards to Kris doing stuff, opening the fountain, stuff like that. I don't like Kris Vessel either. Again, the whole point of the vessel is that it does not have thoughts or feelings. It is just a vehicle for you, the player. It does not care about anything that's happening. The interesting thing about us possessing Kris is that they are their own person who does care about things, who has different agendas, who has wants and needs that are not in line with our own, and like the struggle inherent in that. That they are a person and not just a vehicle. They're all dealing with a lot of stuff. They're dealing with a lot. I mean, I guess you can see it as like a Chekhov's gun kind of thing, but I don't know I don't know how that gun would be firing, pretty much. She wants to get in a well. I don't understand what that means. What brush do I use for coloring rendering? I use a couple of different brushes that I've kind of either made myself or gathered over the years. Like this, my main brush is one I made. Some of these I've copied from other places. Like I'm pretty sure the one I'm using for most of this is either I got it out of a pack once or bought it or made it. Like I've had some of these for so long, it kind of I lose track of where they all came from. But I would share them if necessary. Basically, one of the main reasons that I think Susie is going to end up being playable, not in the same sense that like Kris is, because Susie is Susie and she does what she wants. Really was like the whole scene with I mean there was a lot of little bits of evidence towards that, but the whole scene in the fight against Garrison where Garrison is like, Miss, you know, you've got a story in your eyes, you know, I believe the white pen of hope is what you hold, and she kind of dismisses that and is like, oh no, Kris has that. I don't think she's lying, because I think when he's talking about this element of hope, that is the player. That is the player's purpose in the game, is basically to be the light of hope. Gaster literally says that in one of his things. He's like, Deltarune shines brightly from your hope, player. The power of something shines within you. The soul itself has been gaining more like light abilities, light powers as we've gone on with Banish and stuff like that. So basically, if you want to say, if something is like the power of light, the power of hope, that is the player in the soul. So if Garrison is saying that's what you are going to get, Susie, then that's how I'm reading it. Is she at some point is going to get it. Yeah, I've been using, I know Photoshop is not the best, like Adobe is the worst, honestly, but I've been using it for ages and ages, since like Photoshop 4. So at this point, it's going to have to be like, I would have to make a really concerted effort, move over to like Procreate or something like that. I don't like you, Adobe. You are the worst. I know. I'm not surprised. They got like licensing deals with it and stuff like that. Oh shoot, I missed the thing down there. I missed it. I'm filling this whole bit. I gotta do Susie back there, and plus wrong. And Noelle's wings and halo and stuff, which they're on a separate layer. That's so obnoxious. Like, why are people leaning into that? Like, I kept thinking, okay, you know, people are gonna turn on to Susie for something or other. It's gonna be stupid. I didn't think it would be that stupid. I didn't think it would be that stupid. Like, what are you talking about? You're so mad about, like, maybe people are being, like, jokey about it, but I will say again, what you say in irony today, you will do in sincerity tomorrow. So beware, beware. Oh, her sleeve. I didn't do her sleeve. I missed her sleeve. It's like, no, actually, I don't think that Kris wants to date, like, their neighbor who is an adult ghost in a figurine body. I actually don't think they want that. Which means you want that, which, fine, go get your vessel then. You do it. Like, I'm sorry, the loneliness that Kris has at the end of the chapter is tragic because Kris is doing it to themselves. They are deliberately, like, hurting themselves for this. It's their own fault. That's why it's tragic. It doesn't have to be that way. They have friends who love them and want them to be happy, and they're just not letting it happen. Because they don't think they deserve it. Ah, the tail. She's just as hard to... Nice clean curve. I'm Mr. Sleeve. Do my Dark World puzzle. Kris is a moody teen. And they are doing this to themselves, and that's why it's tragic. But they will need help to get out of it. Which is honestly what this comic is about, a little bit. Mostly about Noelle, but also about, hey, our friend tried to martyr themselves, and we gotta do something about that. Exactly. You gotta receive kindness, as well as give it. I think Kris's problem is that they don't think they deserve kindness. Yeah, that's what I chose. I chose the, gotta win dialogue for Pink, so... Again, Kris uses they, them pronouns. But thanks for coming. Gotta win. The many they, thems. Yeah, Kris pulling out the peace sign, very funny. I actually don't know what happens if you do the other option, because I chose the gotta win option. What do they do if you say, hey, I was serious? Kris, I'm the sole blame for everything. We're like, excuse me? Big bomb? Okay. So either way bombs. Either way, yeah, blow it. Pulls out a bomb. You didn't have enough of these in the battle, did you? Get ready for more. Nuke versus fart essentialist. I did like a little fart one. The soul repairing them. Self-repairing souls. Useful. Wish my soul did that. That'd be neat. Probably take forever, though. I want that cutscene. I want it. Please. I really want a moment where, like, we can just talk to Kris directly. Even if, like, they end up just rejecting it anyway. I think that would be a really neat thing to do. I want to do that in the game. That is true. I guess then the question is, would Kris find out that that happened in an alternate timeline? I guess this is Noelle finding out what she did in an alternate timeline, so a little bit of that. Alright, I gotta do her wings. And Halo, since those will be a little different. One of the Flower Cafe scenes? Oh, and I do love me the one with Orange and Susie, because my theory got evidence. It's hard to turn that down. And what are some other ones? I like the cheese bank that Yellow gets stuck in. What a weird situation. A lot of stuff with Yellow is just always so funny. Yeah, if Kris saw the other Noelle and stuff like this, I think it'd be awful, because, like, definitely it seems like part of the reason why they are doing what they're doing in the normal route is to, like, avoid Noelle suffering. Yeah, right now they're basically, like, in a coma. Like, near-death situation kind of thing. Whatever you would call a fallen down state for humans, I guess. Not quite dead, but it's touch and go. Yeah, the cheese bank I thought was just funny. The one where we're gonna beat you to death with hammer, Seth. Cute. So much like pay for your cute scenes, but I'm like, it's worth the money. Oh yeah, carrying horse Ralsei and Seth. Very funny. Very good. Let's see. I think I need to do another one on the back end, actually. It's above her. Fine. Yeah, I think there's a couple of reasons that Kris feels like they don't deserve kindness, and I think that part of the thing is their friend's going to be like, actually, we beg to differ. And them having to learn to accept the kindness of their friends, and like, oh, actually, it is better to live. You still owe me $5. Thank you, Green. Yeah. They also got a promise hanging over their heads. What it is, we'll find out eventually. Good grief. I think it's so hard to, like, trace a circle you've already done. Might have to go back in here later and, like, sharpen these points. Let's get those Halo sharpened, people! There are ships for whatever you want. Whatever you desire, there is a ship for it. I'll sing about it, I guess. The Ralsei plushes are so cute. They're so hefty. I was surprised by, like, they've got, like, a lot of bean in them or something. I like the Shawn one is a little bit, like, kind of lighter. But the Ralsei ones are nice and big and hefty, and got really nice glasses with them. I got it for a birthday present. A friend sent it to me for birthday, and I was like, oh, birthday Ralsei! I do have the Alfie's plush and the Shawn plush. I gotta do her wings back there. Sheesh. Yeah. Oh, I got erase on, that's why. They say it'll restock, No, it doesn't really reflect the soul traits. Kind of a bit more about how they're schmoving than anything. Maybe I was never meant to be a justice. Like how, like, kind of, what a doofus yellow is. Plus, Ralsei does have a very boopable snoot, it's true. I don't know. He said that, like, like, as time has gone on, he's only been more adamant about that. Which is one of the reasons why I really don't agree with the idea of, like, oh, hometown is completely fake and everybody's memories are fake and stuff like that. Like there's nothing else outside of hometown. Like, okay, if the twist for this is supposed to be that, oh, all of the Lightners are just as fake as Ralsei, then why don't we get merch of them? Give me my Susie plush, Toby, if that's the message you're sending. Give it to me. Like, why do we have this distinction between the Lightner and the Darkner characters, if it doesn't actually matter? Alright. I'm gonna have to, like, do the angel thing later, because that's gonna be, like, 10 bajillion layers, and I can't keep track of them, because I made this a complicated mess, and, I'll get to it later. We'll just do Susie for now. Like, how do I make this as weird JRPG as possible? We'll just keep putting on layers of stuff. That'll work. No, I think device theory is true. It's just a matter of, like, again, it is a layer of reality. Yeah, I feel like that we could do a Smash inclusion, because, like, other characters in Smash are not, like, fictional or whatever. I think you could make it in Smash work while also, like, you know, not making merch, not making toys of them, basically. I mean, maybe that's probably up to Toby in the end. Maybe he's like, you know, since he's friend with Sakurai and stuff like that. It's like, I can make an exception. Let's get Susie in Smash. Susie in Smash. This is gonna be her final Smash, by the way. Dragon form. Yeah, Angel, like, final boss Angel Noel. Oh my god, I have to make this kind of related, but also not too much, because, like, I don't think that when Susie saw, like, the panel of the angel, she would have been like, oh, holy crap, that's Noelle. Like, it's clearly something she doesn't recognize. Well, they've done, like, you know, stuff with Undertale. This a little bit different. We lost internet. Oh yeah, like, definitely I think it's clear that, like, hometown has, yeah. Oh, Smash characters don't automatically get a amiibo, yeah. What's happening on other pages? I'm getting to them. It would be interesting to see Frisk in that. Yeah, basically my thing is, like, okay, hometown has clearly been cut off from the outside world in some manner. They talk about this. The internet's down. The mail's not coming in. Stuff can't get in and out. Stuff like that. Like, so clearly this isolation has happened for a reason. What I have problems with is the idea of, like, oh, hometown has always been this way. Nothing else exists outside of hometown. Everybody's memories are fake. Like, I hate that. I haven't read that story, but I did see the Simpsons movie, so, like, I know a dome exists. But I haven't read that particular one. Basically, hometown's been cut off from the outside world. Yes, hometown. Nothing else ever exists outside of hometown, and everything is fake. No. See? Yeah, I'm coming back to the angel later because I don't know what I was doing. Try to write your own Deltarune. I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. That's kind of what I did with Paper Trail in Chapter 1. This is something I've kind of been continuously doing, like, since the game's been going. Just adjusting as things change. So, what am I doing? Right, what I'm doing right now. There you go. This is basically imagine like late chapter 7 stuff. Imagine I get an orange plushie. I could get orange as a plushie. She would make a great plushie. Also thinking, glad you like the designs. Did I change Weird Root Noelle's outfit? It's the same as I had in the thing we went over last week. Yeah, that's part of my problem is that if nothing else exists outside of hometown and nothing ever has, then you have to make up some last Thursdayism for it. And it's pretty much like, okay, then Susie's backstory did not happen. Des has never existed. For that matter, Asriel's never existed because stuff did not start existing until, like, the game started. And I think that's dumb. I hate last Thursdays. The Ori Krogar? I don't know what that is. I don't know what a Krogar is. The people are in ab jail. I would get an orange plushie, though. He's so cute. Cute little orangey mouse human. I know. Somebody's probably made that argument. Well, it's last Thursday isn't because it started on Thursday. That's when the world was made. I'm like, yeah, that sucks, though. Good luck! Making fan games is hard. It's tough stuff, but you can do it. Gotta stick to it. On the first Thursday, there was Thursday. Let there be Thursdays and nothing else. All Thursdays all the time. Already that day of the week. Yes, good luck with your fan game. Yeah, that is another difficulty. It's because usually you can't pay people. Although I'm gonna pay people once I get my own big project going, but I'm trying to save money for it. What's a Krogar? I don't know what a Krogar is. Do you mean crochet? Yeah, End of the Line. Good song. Okay, it's crochet is spelled C-R-O-C-H-E-T. Okay, I might have seen that, and if so, that was very cute. No, crochet is spelled C-R-O-C-H-E-T. Crochet. I'm pretty sure it's French. That's why the spelling's stupid. I'm sure if, like, Susie tried to pronounce it in game, she would spell it like C-R-O-C-H-S-H-A-Y or something. I've got a couple Undertale Yellow songs. I could probably stand to add a few more. Like, I don't have a lot of AU songs on this playlist, but they do show up every once in a while. I've got one I'm like, oh, I like this one. I'm going to keep this one. So yeah, I know I've got a couple Undertale Yellow ones. I could probably stand to add a few more. Crochet. As in, like, Davy Crockett, you mean? Davy Crockett. King of the Wild Frontier. Yeah, I just got to go looking for more Undertale Yellow remixes. I'm still waiting also for some more stuff from Chapter 5 to be added. There's some good ones, but almost all the ones that everybody has done so far has been either, you know, Flower Man or the Mew Mew song. So I'm like, can we get some more Castle or Flower Castle or Quiet Glade or all the other good stuff out there? That is true. There were some Sunset of Seven Sun remixes. That's true. I think we might need to turn off her wings for a bit so I can see what I'm doing. It's kind of funny because, like, I know that Toby was really happy with Sunset of Seven Suns, but, like, the song that I've had on, like, repeat for, like, a month at this point has been Flower Castle. I really like Flower Castle. Although Sunset of Seven Suns is nice. I definitely like the moment where, like, you're clearly supposed to sync stuff up with the music and, you know, jump over the gap while the sun is rising in the background. Like that. That's a nice touch. I like stuff like that. Yeah, pedal dance really good. Running Sky also good. Yeah, I probably have that one Flower Castle remix because I've definitely been listening to stuff over and over again. All right, let's this page with big feathers. Everybody loves a big feather. It's not an anime or an JRPG without really honking big white feathers everywhere. Whee! Yeah, Cyber City was just... It's funny because Cyber City is like, okay, but then we got like, you know, a Cyber's World, the field one, and that was just knocked it out of the park. Blew it out of the water. Having the fist fight? In that case, Weird Root, or Normal Root Noelle is probably still winning. She's probably eaten more recently. Cutie Mimi Magic is good. I do like it. I do like some of the quieter ones. I was actually listening to the Walk Home one for a while. I was getting all misty about it. And Pandora Palace, true. I guess you gotta save your best for last. Well, what entrance side you have to be then? Don't know. Like Toby, I'm not gonna bother with timeline stuff very much. It happened at some point. Oh, I love Third Sanctuary. No, like, this at least implies time has passed. Also, I probably should, do that feather behind him so I can do, like, some break stuff. What's UTP again? Is it purple? Yeah, she's concerned for her girlfriend. Yes, they just had an epic boss fight. But still. I'm not sure what you can if you want. I don't know what those nicknames would be. Woo Noelle in Noelle? That's kind of hard to say, but whatever works. So when is my stretch break again? I do like the Uwa so mixes. Those are nice. I still really like Mysterious Door from Undertale, and nobody ever remixed that. Also, I actually really liked Stronger Monsters when we got that from the anniversary. Like, it was really short and simple, but it was just really fun to have on repeat. Fun to work my way around. No, he didn't. He had clearly adapted Deltarune from a previous story because Deltarune is about adaptation. I need to friggin' make that video about themes. I don't have time, but I want to. Because I keep going, no, you're not getting the themes right. The themes! It's not about escapism. That's too shallow of a reading. There's more to it. Eram was the original final boss. Oh, from like a previous iteration of Deltarune? Okay, that's fascinating. That's fascinating. I hadn't heard that before. Interesting take. I'm trying, I don't know if I'm trying to like incorporate stuff into like, again, my thoughts on Friend and stuff like that and what Friend relates to. Because I'm more and more getting to the idea of like, okay, because I think one of, yeah, I think one of the important themes of Deltarune is that adaptations will save you. Basically, that you need to keep retelling stories. That telling stories over and over again and changing them, updating them. That's like one of the major themes. It's like basically salvation through adaptation, the retelling of stories. That's why I think people get tripped up with like they think it's about escapism or Susie's being lost in in fantasy or stuff like that. No, it's about keeping the story going by retelling it and adapting it. Like, I think that's a major theme of the game. So in that context, in the context of this being a story about how retelling stories will save you, what does it mean to be a knockoff? What does it mean to be like, you're copying a story that already existed, but you don't understand how it worked, or like what actually made it special, and you're just trying to, you know, zero in on the hype moments in Aura and stuff like that. What is the harm that a knockoff does? And I think like that's how I would tie in Friend and stuff like that, and Cat Petters, because Friend is tied in with Cat Petters, which Noelle describes as a knockoff of Dragon Blazers. We have other things about, you know, the knockoff controller. I'm kind of invested now in the idea of like, again, when your story is about how retelling stories through sincerity is good, what happens when you get a knockoff? And I think that might be how Friend plays in. The dangers of the trend chasing, the knockoff, the focus on the chasing after substance without actually understanding it. Also, I think I need to take, now that I finish that, let's take my stretch break. Give him the C+. Good job on rewriting the world, kids. You did an okay job. Actually, I think you should have had more hype moments in Aura. Oh, you had them? I missed them. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll check that later. But we didn't forget Mew Mew. Mew Mew was included. She got to be a cool boss and everything. They even commented on her cool theme song. School is canceled. Probably for the rest of the week, anyway. Yeah, MK and Snowy are missing. Depending on your route, Birdly is either kind of incapacitated or not doing great. Well, especially like if something big and bad happened at the festival with Rudy, I think then the mayor would be like, shut the school down. We're not doing that right now. I got other things to worry about. I mean, she'll shut stuff down if it rains too much, so, which we'll probably get that as well, so I don't think we're going to be going back to school tomorrow. For our school project, we're opening the fountain. Tim, learn how to sing. Here, Timmy's fine because she's just playing FF14. She's like, oh, did things change? I had to do stuff with I had to go on raids with my cat girl. That's true, she can't play 14. That's true. Oh, she's doomed. Can't do, like, that's all she can do now is draw her caricature. She can't play 14. One is Friend and the other is Snuggles. Aw. Everybody has cats but me, who has a lizard. Even Toby has a cat named Kiki, whose happiness will go down infinitely if they do not have a dental chew toy. And costs 1 million giant coin to play. Well, you gotta be concerned about allergies. We didn't really have cats growing up either because my mom was allergic to cats. So yeah. Even though we didn't even get my first dog until I was in high school. Before we got a dog, we had fish and hermit crabs. I guess technically my first, like, quote-unquote real pet was hermit crabs. Which is why I like crabs. Crabs are cute. Yeah, I think there are certain breeds that are hypoallergenic, whatever the name is. Are you planning on watching it? No, I don't really care about the World Cup. Plus, I am doing an interview thingy for a Deltarune podcast after. But I hope the people who you want to win win. Alright, I'll be right back for one more stretch and orange juice and stuff. Alrighty, I'm back. I don't know, I just don't think they're even going to be doing school in chapter 6. I think they're going to be like, nope, school, we got other stuff to do. Oh, I don't have the fan on. I don't have a fan on right now. You might be hearing the mic is like right next to the computer, so you might be hearing the computer fan. Sorry. The backbeat of Black Knife. That's my computer doing Black Knife for you. I should probably give the inside of my computer a decent cleaning sometime soon. But then I was like, I gotta turn it off, and I gotta pull all the stuff out, and I gotta carefully blow air in there, blah, blah, blah. And it's one of those things you just kind of don't get to. I got so many things I need to do that I'm like, oh, I'll do it later. And then, don't do it. And my PC is not nearly as noisy as it used to be when I had my first RAM sticks in it. Like, it used to be a lot noisier and stuff back when I was blue screening a bunch. Knock on wood. But I got new RAM sticks and now it's quieter and not so troubled. I'm sorry your message got buried. It happens. Yeah, it's important. Keep it cool. Actually, maybe I shouldn't have done the teeth separately. I probably should have just done those on another thing, but we'll do that later. So sorry if there were messages I missed. I'm trying to think of what my favorite area music is for these chapters so far, and it's hard to say. It might be the Cyberfield one. I really like that one. I don't know. I'm kind of wondering at this point, okay, if Hometown is like, you know, stuck in a barrier or pocket dimension or whatever's going on with it, and, you know, Asriel's currently outside of that because he's in college. And unfortunately, like, okay, if this barrier was put around Hometown in order for the player to, you know, to facilitate the player playing the game, then we're probably not going to be able to, like, see Asriel until, like, we're done with our interface with the game, which, no! Will we never see the boy? Is it possible we can do it while still having the game interface going? Maybe. That's a lot of extra characters to add. I still need pin sets for the new stuff. Have they even done a pin set for Chapter 4? I know they had one for Chapter 3. Actually, I kind of wonder what you do for the pin set for Chapter 4. Like, you can do Jackenstein. You can do Garrison, probably. Who else? I wouldn't even say you could do a Noelle pin, because they already have a Noelle pin. She's crazy. She's not doing well. She's not doing great. It's not been a good time. Yeah, like, if I'll get, like, a little email in my message, like, oh, we have this merch, I'll be like, ooh, neat. But I haven't caught up with it super well. But I did get the Chapter 4 poster. I gotta put it on my wall. I like Chapter 5 a lot, but I think 4 is still my favorite so far. Maybe that will change in the future. That's kind of what I was answering. I don't know. We haven't even gotten all of the Chapter 4 merch yet. Might be a while before we get anything for 5. Yeah, 4 is so good. I love the music in 4, the aesthetic of it. 5 is really good too. How do you write dialogue? Same way you write anything else, I imagine. Unless you mean, like, for this specifically? Yeah, 1 is so good. I mean, to plan shots for the dialogue? Yeah, I usually write a script first. And then, when I have the script, I'll, kind of divide up where I think the dialogue will go and chop it up that way. What makes the most sense for it. The Dream Watcher scene, yeah, oh, that was so heartbreaking. That was, oh. And Susie backstory. Oh. I really hope we can, like, see Flowers again. Like, I know we have all these setups of, like, oh, you won't get to see, you know, Garrison again. You won't get to see the Flowers again, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. I think it'd also be kind of cool if Susie's like, screw that. I'll write them in. Here I go. Watch me. I do have the inconvenient lamps. Or the inconvenient lamps. I think the problem is also... Yeah, you'd have to water them frequently. Plus, how would you string up the lights? I don't know how big the closet is. Yeah, isn't it also kind of hinted that, like, basically the flowers are doing all this even though they know their own dark world can't last because they, as the flowers, would start dying? That, like, basically their normal light, the lamps don't actually work in the dark world, so they would start dying if they kept their dark world open. Yeah, that's what it was. Flower mints, they would die anyway. That is part of the tragedy I get of it, I guess, is just this. Living as long as they can in this way, knowing that, you know, they really can't make it last, which, unfair. So you'd have to find some kind of weird workaround for them to keep going in the dark world. That's true. He's obviously genuinely upset when the knight, you know, stabs Flowery, though. He's like, the knight's gonna kill you, which does happen, and then he's like, I still have to try and heal him. That's true. That's true. That's true. It could be possible. Oh, shoot, I forgot that. I did not fill that one in. Get over here. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I could see it going both ways. I could see both things being relevant. That's true. We got lots of those around here. I love it when it's spring and the cherry blossoms are blooming. We have like a couple of tulips in front of our apartment building, and they like have these big beautiful flowers for like a week or two, and then they're gone. Boo, flowers! And your fleeting beauty being the entire basis by which you are beautiful, because it does not last. Flowers are like, it's okay, we'll be back next year. I guess that's also the beauty of it, is that even though they do not last forever, they will still return one day. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go back to, I ain't gonna tackle the angel right now. It's too hard. Let's do wing base. Wing commander. Which, hey, the cyclical thing about flowers is that could play into, you know, Deltarune being a cycles of adaptation. Bring him back for the next adaptation. Yeah, we can do a request today. We do have a blank document for it. Alright, where is... Alright, there's... Choose the wing. Yeah, that the fact that Toriel was gardening feels like a bit of a hint that it could be Toriel doing some of that. But it does also feel kind of unfair that now she's been saddled with that when he gets, like, kidnapped. His name is Phoebus. Oh, Papyrus taking care of the flowers would be really fun. Yeah, Birdly can meet Seth. There's options. There's options there. Shanteen. You spell Phoebus with an O. P-H-O-E-B-U-S. Like the sun god. That's Phoebus. P-H-O-E-B-U-S. So, PH for, like, the sound. All that stuff. Phoebus, yes, that's it. Dash his name. I haven't drawn them in a while either. Oof. Peepus, that's not how you spell Peepus. Are we about done with this page except for Angel Noel, which I'll get back to later because that's a bit of a mess. Are we done? Oh wait, no, yeah, I did that feather. And that I'll do later as well. Okay, that's good for now. But yeah, now I do kind of like that whole setup with like Birdly and Seth. That has to go somewhere. Why was Seth like, ah yes, the bird. If only I could be like my hero. Like, were you just like telling Seth about Birdly, Kris? Kris needed an inside they them. Fellow NB, let me tell you of this weird nerd in my class. That's gonna be a little hard to do with the brush this small. We'll do our best. Yeah, at least Birdly was shedding. Okay, here, how would Kris have known that, like, Seth was also a nerd? Because clearly they're both, like, they have the same nerd interests. Kris is just looking at Asgore's wedding flowers like, this purple one? I bet that one's a real nerd. I bet this guy's just the most obnoxious nerd of the whole bunch. Yeah, I don't know. Well, and here we are now. Use one of my feathers, Kris. Ralsei does seem to be aware of the weird root, yes. So, considering he's like, in the weird root, he's like, hey, something worse might happen. Some little aspects of the real world. Maybe so. Yellow's like, I can't hold on. Go on, injustice without me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the flowers know. And I do think that Susie might suspect, but she doesn't want to admit it. I like drawing Susie with the big wing. She should get to be big and fly. And breathe fire. As is her right. Yeah, it's kind of, at least they had Blue there to be like, honey, stop trying to kill yourself. Yeah, it's really kind of unclear, like, what Ralsei does and doesn't know. The whole fact that he's like, oh, wait, you mean the night existed before the heroes did, huh? Like, what don't you... I'm kind of more concerned about what he doesn't know. Why do you not know that part, Ralsei? How do you know what you know? Ralsei, explain yourself! Yeah, Ralsei's trying his best to trust Kris as well. Yeah, and he's also frustrated. It's the story, but it's not the entire story. There's something else going on. Ralsei's like, I don't know what that is! Ooh. It's really rough at that angle. That was another thing that felt weirder this chapter, was like, What is Ralsei's deal? Even more unclear. The part where people are like, well, maybe he's a giant tree. I don't know, maybe. That doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. I actually don't like the Titan stuff. I would rather him be a big tree than a Titan. Yeah, that's what I mean by big tree. That's why I'm just like, I don't know. We have no info, but then the burden of proof is on you to be like, okay, if he does not look like a Titan, sound like a Titan, act like a Titan, behave like a Titan, and he's not killed by Kris's abilities that affect Titans, then why is he a Titan? You're gonna have to explain all that. Like, you're gonna have to go through a lot of steps to get from A to B. Same from like, oh, he's a goner, he's a vessel. Okay, he does not look or sound or act like any of those. So how is he a vessel? Do your homework. Write up a story for it. If he's gonna be those things, you gotta explain. Explain, America, explain. Okay, what is the case for Goner Ralsei? They don't seem to have any behavior patterns. They don't. It's not clear what a goner is. Like, is it a copy of a person? Is it, a person that's, is it an empty vessel or something? Like, we don't even know what a goner is. Nope, we haven't gotten a request so far. A goner glazes Gaster. Instead of goner, it's glazer. Yeah, that's the thing that always kind of weirded me out. It's like, oh, normal NPC is turning into a goner because his speech is getting worse. I'm like, the goners don't have bad speech. They actually have perfectly fine speech. What do you mean his speech is deteriorating? That means he's a goner. Those two things are not connected. I'm picturing the goners as like a, Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm gray now. That's my attack. This whole backdrop is great. People are going to be like, copies are monochrome. I'm like, actually, it's the Mother 1 reference, but that's fine. He was always weird, though. I don't think he necessarily deteriorating. It's just he was always kind of weird. You're always blocking my lore in the library. On purpose. There's something important up there. I'm sorry, Ninten's not in this comic. It just kind of looks vaguely Mother 1-esque. Breadcrumbs thing. I like the books upstairs. No, actually it happens less in the Japanese translation. That was my understanding. Like, Jockington speaking brokenly, that's actually less in Japanese. How would a Lightner spacesuit work? Is it, like, full of darkness in there? Okay. I don't know Minecraft. You just said a bunch of words I don't know. I can give you Shanty and Phoebus, but like all that stuff, I don't know what any of that is. I don't know Minecraft. Like all the stuff you described, like right through my brain. I don't know what Minecraft is. I have feelings about Spooky Dude at this point. Alright. Sorry, I'll do that later. I'm kind of busy right now. I know, I'm doing it. I was trying to figure out what it was, because I don't know Minecraft. That's why I was yelling about Minecraft. You're gonna have to forgive me if this is not at all what you want, because I don't know it. Also, it's been so long since I've done Phoebus and stuff. I am trying to use the references I have. This appears to be more a process than, like, something I can reference. Okay, he's not happy. I know, no Skybox art for a while. I'm always down for drawing Skybox characters again. He's like, oh boy. I did get Lynx, but this just described a phenomenon that I'm not familiar with. Have him looking sufficiently, ugh. So I love this remix. I actually really like, I really like Death Report. I don't hear enough remixes of Death Report. It's a really good song. That's why you use reference. That's why you gotta do it. What do I hate the possibly most about Deltarune? I'm not quite sure what you mean. Like, in terms of, like, how the story might go, or, like, what we have so far for it? Or, like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Something I wish was done differently. I don't know. I think it would be useful if Toby cared a little bit more about timeline stuff, just for our own purposes, but I don't think that necessarily makes the game worse or anything. Skybox is Obsidian, I guess. He did learn it from Hussey. I was joking about that earlier or something. I'm like, he learned some lessons from Hussey. We might still get stuff with the dojo. Okay, I hope this is along the lines of what you were... I know, she's very large on Phoebus. But that's okay. Nice to do some Skybox stuff, though. Even if that's more the Obsidian box. Oh, move that right in the corner. Oh, yeah, like, I think I was talking about this, I think I was talking about this a little bit earlier with somebody else, wherein I kind of feel like the mics are kind of like dancing around the line of being like Caliborn or not, in that they're a kind of fandom commentary. They're not quite as like mean as Caliborn is, but they're kind of towing that line a little bit. I'm like, Toby, you should be careful. Which is why I kind of think he shouldn't do too much more with the mics. But the mics absolutely feel like fandom commentary. I'm going to turn off her wings again so I can see what I'm doing. Timeline stuff is a huge pain. And sometimes you just want to like, so her wings like jumping right into there. We can do Ralsei as well. Okay, thank you. I'm glad you're happy with it. I was like, I don't know what this process being described is. This is probably a meme or something. I don't know what it is. Everyone's a cowboy. Yeah, I feel like I don't feel like the mics are like directly insulting to the fandom, but I do feel like it's fandom commentary, and that's dangerous territory. Heck, I feel like that whole stuff with like the friends in the most recent lore drop, I feel like that was fandom commentary. I felt like the whole thing was like, oh, they chase shiny objects until they get bored, be careful. And I'm like, fandom, that's you! That's you! You fell for it! It's you! You are the friends! It's a very subtle call out. Again, stuff I'm thinking about in terms of like the knockoff versus the adaptation. Are you in it because you sincerely want to retell the story, or are you in it because you want your little lore bits and you want your hype and your aura? What are you doing here? My friends need to touch some grass. It is a lot of fun to speculate. It is. I mean, I'm certainly a part of that too. I can't deny that. But I kind of wonder if maybe what's being said with the friends, with Mike and stuff like that is like, hey, you're focusing, like, it's great to, you know, again, I think one of the messages of the game is like, stories should be retold. Keep telling stories, keep adapting things. But I do wonder if kind of some of the stuff with, again, friends and all that stuff is, how about you do a shower 100%? Is, hey, you might be focusing on the wrong stuff. I think you're getting too caught up in certain details and not enough in, like, you know, what the point of all this is. Don't be a trend chaser. If you follow the same path as everyone else, you won't get anywhere. That came up multiple times in the ARG is like, well, you are doing the safe thing. Everything, you know, when you have a bat, everything looks like a ball. Are you actually thinking things through, or are you just trying to brute force your answer, kind of thing? Are you, you know, assigning meaning to things that don't actually apply, and have you thought through it? It is fun to speculate. Just again, always good to remember that you are not solving a puzzle. You are not... This is not a vehicle for lore. It's a narrative. I think there are some fans that are too, like, focused on it being a vehicle for lore rather than, you know, again, a story that's being told. Which is then how you can get into stuff like blood lore. Lost in the lore sauce. Lost in the blood lore sauce. Don't get me wrong, it is fun. But It's not the whole of things. Bug fables! I do like thinking about the themes and stuff. I like the characters and imagining what they will do to solve the problems and situations and stuff like that. I mean, we've certainly proven that, like, okay, we're not going to be able to predict the later chapters. Even though that's what I'm doing with this comic. But it's part of it's like, okay, I think this will happen in later chapters. But it is also like, I don't know, commentary on some of the thematic ideas presented in the weird route. Get out of my head! Isn't that basically what Kris is? Okay, I'll stop. I won't be mean. I don't know, maybe I just don't have the mindset for it. Like, I keep thinking back to, like, apparently I just did not catch this in chapter 1, but everybody's like, oh, Kris is gonna, you know, Ashley Kara is gonna kill everybody and stuff like that in the next chapters, blah, 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 after the end of chapter 1. And that just never crossed my mind as, like, being viable. Maybe I was too engulfed in Paper Trail. But I'm like, okay, we know there's going to be 7 more chapters. Like, why would it just end with them killing everybody? It did use that Kara imagery on purpose. But if it was a situation of like, oh, there's 7 more chapters, I was like, okay, so stuff has to happen in those chapters. I'm not just going to go around killing everybody. This is clearly something about how, you know, how us and Kris are different people. How would Paper Trail Ralsei react to Flowery? Probably better than Canon Flowery Canon Ralsei, honestly. Canon Ralsei clearly has other hang-ups. Oh, I probably need to do my stretch break soon. Yeah, I think that might also be part of the reason why a lot of people suspected, that Kris might be the second voice in the Goner Maker sequence, because they already kind of talk a bit like Kara. Like, I think later on, Noelle mentioned something like, only Kris would say something like, you know, undecided instead of a more normal word. Like, it seems like Kris already has, like, a little bit of a weirdly formal way of speaking. Kind of cryptic. Okay, let's see if we can't, get all this and I'll do my stretch break. I just ate the pie. I gotta do this before the player comes back and doesn't let me eat ever again. Oh yeah, they were probably doing something else. Wait, did I miss this one? They were probably doing something else as well as part of the night conspiracy. But, they also ate a pie. Yeah, they did have to have set up Tenna, because I think that was already set up in chapter 2. Alright, time for stretch break. And then we'll do a bit more on this page. So yeah, they were doing other things, but they also just ate the pie. But I really gotta wonder what the heck they were doing between chapters 4 and 5 if they were like half dead by the time they got back home. They were really running themselves ragged. Kris just climbing back and I'm like, Kris, what were you doing, child? Honey, what were you doing? Chapter making a dark world. I don't think it would have taken them the whole night to prep Flower King, though. I think some of it they might have done, like, right before, you know, they made the fountain as well, like tipping over the TV, stuff like that. Unless they were just like there all night, basically talking to the flowers, being like, okay, so it's gonna go down like this. Triple trucy. Did I ever think that Kris was like totally innocent? At the very least, I was not on board with Kris being the knight. My reasons were a little bit petty about that. Like, I know there was a lot of evidence and stuff going back and forth, but the one thing that really bugged me about that was, so one of the counter evidence bits was Toby talking about the little anime opening he had planned that he scrapped and stuff like that, and he mentioned, you know, the characters running upstairs and the knight standing at the top kind of thing. I'm like, okay, that shows that the knight is a separate person from Kris, and people would counter that by saying, well, it would have been, you know, regular Kris at the bottom of the stairs and the knight Kris at the top, you know, in an anime. And I'm sitting here like, that's not how you would visually depict that. Visuals mean things. You would not visually show it that way. It is my job to interpret things into moving visuals. You wouldn't do it that way. And I couldn't, like, explain it to anybody else because it sounded petty. But it literally drove me nuts. Quietly drove me nuts. And I'm like, no, if the anime opening was real, even if it was scrapped, then that would not have been Kris, because that's not how you would show that Kris is the knight in a visual sense. You would do it this way, and like, Death's Knight stays winning. Death's Knight stays winning. Yeah, I think the thing with the phone is that there's two people talking about Kris on the phone. I could see Kris being a red herring candidate. But I think the prevailing belief there was that, yes, Kris is almost definitely the knight. Like, some people were like, oh yeah, it's definitely Kris. And, again, it was hard to explain why I was like, no, that's not correct, without, like, bringing up that one particular point. Which is entirely based on, like, my own feelings about how you show things visually. Okay, I will be right back for one more stretch and stuff. I'm back. Oh, with the thing with chapter 2 in them, I actually think it's quite possible that, Noelle and Birdley, like, walked into the dark room and fell in. I don't think they would have had to have been sitting. But I also was like, and then I went there first and, you know, made the fountain and then left. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That the theory's coming true. It hasn't been debunked yet. It's still going. I was waiting. I'm like, it's got to do something this chapter, and we just got a little more. I don't think I have enough to like do a follow-up video unless I want to delve into the horrors of blood lore, but jail. But thank you for watching it. Still want to do more videos, just a matter of getting time for them. And in the meanwhile, we're doing comics as well. This is the oh, actually it's not the correct one, but that's fine. I gotta get my lighter color as well. I think that's somewhere back the other way. Yeah, it was fun to do, even though it was pretty different from what I usually do. I usually do comic. Actually, hey, what happened there? Fill that in, please. Okay, we'll do Susie's back here. Yeah, I like Star. There's not that many remixes of Star. I wonder if that's a song we would ever see a return for in Deltarune, now that I think about it. Especially since Stars kind of seem just as relevant. So Whip the Fallen Star and all that. Wait, is it based on Star Fox SNES? Interesting. I didn't know that. It's a reference song. What would have been its place in Undertale? Yeah, I've always seen people just associate it with Kara, but how if it's a Star Fox reference, how was it be referenced? Interesting, fascinating. Yeah, they're just chilling in the pool. Gonna be for an Easter egg during the magic fight. Huh. Wonder what kind of Easter egg. Like if we stared at the orb and waited for something, it would have been a Star Fox reference. Interesting. I never do that. I'm surprised. I'm surprised he didn't like mention it in the 10th anniversary stream or something. Well, I guess it never would have come up because it's unused, but fascinating. Fascinating. All right, what did I do with her tail? Let's probably just continuing down here. You can trigger a healing attack from magic? You can? I didn't know that. Learn something new every day. It's like, how would you do that? How is that possible? Oh, maybe it was another anniversary. Huh. Undertale's a world of references. Oh my goodness! I drew them all on the wrong layer! How far back can I go? I want her to be behind Noelle for a reason! I'm gonna have to... This is why I do stuff with different colors! No, so I know what I'm doing! Oh! Wrong layer! Okay, this is not terrible, but I'm gonna have to redo all this stuff with Susie. I'm gonna sob in the wrong layer song. It's the wrong layer song. I feel so stupid for getting it wrong. I know. Oh, this is like a remix of various things, including Dog Song. Dog is laughing at me Get wrong layered, idiot. Okay. Back to the proper layer we go. Fine. This is also why I label my layers. Oh, ugh. Susie's making that face like, oh, wrong layer, huh, bud? Ugh. It's the correct layer now. This is layer 2. I checked. It's correct layer. I need characters to be separated out for lighting reasons, so... Other layers separate. Yeah, it would be nice. Yeah, I'm kind of torn between, like, one, it would be really nice for, like, the flowers to, you know, gain some respect for Toriel and be like, oh, okay, she is right to, you know, be her own person now. But it is kind of like that, but also then you're saddling Toriel with, like, her ex's, you know, pet project stuff that kind of tore him away from his family in the first place. I don't know, like, it's kind of rough. I feel like it's the kind of thing people might get mad either way. Even if, like, on the sentiment of it is sweet. She is a nice person. That is true. Pretty much when you're doing traditional art, you can only start from the bottom and work up. It's depending on the medium you're using. I mostly have watercolors, so I do gotta do more watercolor stuff. I really like it, even if it's hard. I also like pencils. I gotta get really back into my waking up drawings again. I kind of stopped about a month ago, so I gotta get back to that. Alright, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, what are we bouncing around the whole page for? Stop that. I do kind of wonder how Toriel would feel, though, learning Asgore got kidnapped. It's kind of like, uh-oh. I wonder how much of that Carol was anticipating. Like, if that's going to come as a surprise to Carol. Or if she kind of planned for that. Because if she also planned for Asgore to get kidnapped, oh boy. We got something going on there. Asgore, we can tell Carol, Kris. Well, maybe we shouldn't. That's why I really don't understand, like, people who are like, oh, Susie is going to bring Noelle into the dark world. Why don't they bring an adult? I'm like, who? Who? Who are they going to talk to this about? That Susie would want to talk to about it. And that would be a good candidate. Nobody. I'm sorry. Who? Not Asgore. He's gone. Not the mayor. She's in on it. Toriel almost got kidnapped. I don't think Alfie's actually going to help here. Undyne's gone. You want Sans the Skeleton to help you? Like, who? Noelle literally is the best person for them to tell. Aside from the fact that she's, you know, Susie's girlfriend now. But he's not an adult. The idea was like, Susie has to tell an adult about this. He either got kidnapped or almost kidnapped. True. Back to gangly Kris over here. Go tell W.D. Gaster about it. Yeah, Birdley was in a dark world, and also he's just deeply obnoxious. And doesn't listen when you tell him don't do that. Heck, most of his smarts come from Noelle, and Susie's like, oh, okay, we need someone who's competent and capable. Just because Birdley is strong doesn't mean he's competent and capable. He's still working on that. Okay. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming. What are we on? We're on page 4. Page 4 out of 10, just about. Alright, work on her wings. No, I don't need a group. Stop that. Susie, do your parents know? Susie's like, not if I can help it. Wait, did I know I had, I need a better thing I can grab from. Here we go. I haven't seen that version of Peter Pan. Wait, that's 5. And she's also closer to the shelter code, which they still need, so yes. It is in fact very logical for Susie to focus on Noelle first. Pretty good? That's nice. I saw Backrooms yesterday. I liked it. It was good. It was scary. It was spoopy. But it was a good time. Alright, oh, I gotta do the wings back on her too, over there. Will Susie have Birdley take care of flowers? Maybe. I kind of feel like she'd be like, okay, Kris, it's up to you who you want to take care of the flowers. I don't know if Susie would demand certain people for it or not. She figures, hey, that's your dad. Also, I'll say it's really funny, Susie not knowing Asgore's name when he gets, like, carted off to the castle, and he's like, Kris! She's like, Kris is dead! It just sounds kind of silly. Well, next time, introduce yourself, Asgore. Thank you. It's fun to do. Definitely color comics take a bit more prepping. But they're fun. As long as it's not a full series, because that's what takes a while. And your wings there. Also, it's like, that's so awkward when you meet your alternate self who's doing horribly. That's because I kind of wonder if, like, the thing with Kris is that they're not so much threatening their family as, like, they expect to be the one that's not going to make it out. Regardless of whatever the prophecy says, Kris is the one who is acting like they're not going to survive the week, is what I'll say. Kris, why did you take the danger seeds? What are you doing with those, Kris? What are you doing? Okay. I think we can do some fills on that. Oh, I gotta do the other one up there, the tiny version. I think Susie could hurt a lot without necessarily being the one to die. If they don't want us to have a vessel, they could do that. They'd take it out every night. They're just, you know, it's gonna kill them. I can't last well without it. Kris is... Okay, if he's gonna pray for Susie, if Susie is the one who's supposed to kill Kris. Also, Ralsei being like, hey, if we have a happy ending, I think that includes you, Kris. Why would Kris not be included in the happy ending? And you could just read that as like a shipping thing, but... Exactly. It would include all of them. It would need to. Okay. A little bit back there. Oh, I forgot our antlers. Oh. Actually, maybe we'll add the antlers in later with the other outside the thing. Alright, are we good on this page? I think so. Launch. Alright, we're good on page 4. On to page 5. Again, I do think it's possible that Susie is the one who's supposed to die in the thing. But my main thoughts on that again are, you can still have something horrible happen with Susie if she's the one that has to do it. Kris is the one who is acting like they're not going to survive the week. And the way the prophecy refers to them as like a holding cage for something else rather than a person, I don't know. Weird. Like, the soul is the important part, not the actual person holding it. What? Like, Susie literally asked, why are they calling you a cage? Susie clearly a part of the prophecy in a big way, obviously. But I think that could manifest differently if she is supposed to do something rather than just, like, die. Weird Root Noelle is still not doing well. And hasn't for a while. Our stream. Okay, orange. Okay, let me see if I gotta see if I can remember what Sunny looks like from memory. Maybe I can look up some stuff. Let's see. Or I can scroll down. I know I had references to this stuff somewhere. Where was it? I don't think it was that far down. Where did it go? Oh wait, no, here it is. Okay. I was trying to look up references for Sunny. Welcome back. We're doing a sketch request real quick. Also, see if I can remember how to do, like, green. Although green is a very basic design, so it should be okay. Yes, welcome back. Oh, wrong brush. Usually use my main brush. Okay. Flower crown. Comics are fun. They're fun to figure out. Oftentimes it's a lot of just trying to do them. I've got comics from like 10 million years ago. I just sit in the corner of my house and draw them on paper. I don't know if I like that arm. Okay. I need a room for green. Yeah, animation and comics are related, but not exactly the same. I guess that would be a very decompressed comic if it was a bit more like animation. Let's see. You're so happy. I gotta look up green, actually. 'Cause I don't remember exactly what they look like. Deltarune. No, I'm not getting stuff from DuckDuckGo. Incorrect. Green flower. Oh my goodness, it's not helpful at all. This is all like old stuff. Okay, I'm gonna go to the wiki. I'm gonna go to the wiki. There we go. There's green. Green's so cute. Now, ding, 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 ding. Alright, and do the little cat. Right, I guess they're standing on something to give them a flower crown. There we go. You're green now. That's my flower crown. That's my Girona. Welcome back. We have 2 green souls. Aren't they cute? Everybody wants to be a green soul. I wish I was a green soul. Alright, I'm back on this. Grab the color I was using. Welcome back. I'd like to be a green soul. I'm probably Aqua, though. Patience. Even though I'm not an adorable murder child that you know of. I do love how funny all the flowers are. Just all of them just like... It's so fun how just really quickly... How really good Toby is at like making you fall in love with a character really quickly. Instantly charming. You don't gotta work up to it at all. It's just like, oh, I love this person now. That's hard. I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that. I do like the fact that we were confirmed to have toe beans for Ralsei, so we can have toe beans everywhere. Didn't I just have this song on? Maybe I'm crazy. Whoa, brick be upon ye. So anyway, I started throwing bricks. Isn't that the woe, no, brick shock. Isn't that the woe, like, hamster be upon ye? Go my scarab, whatever. Whatever, go my fire shock. I was like, excuse you, what did you do to your Kris? Kris is our tender. You borked it. You messed up a perfectly good Kris is what you did. Look at it. It's got anxiety. Actually, it's got nothing at all. Well, not in this case, it's not. Looking a little washed up. Wah, 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 wah. I have to do a bunch of layers on this one. Okay. We got this stuff in the foreground. Fine. Looking a little dull there, Kris. Kris is like, I didn't start as a vessel, but I could get there if you work at it. Ah. Where's the stick controllers the soul is using? Susie like, I can fix her. Alright, we'll do that. Noelle's like, man, can even I fix me? Fix yourself before you wreck yourself. Before you weird yourself. I don't know. There's an aqua cursor you can get. That would not surprise me. People make a lot of cursors and stuff like that. I would not be shocked. I gotta probably stop. Well, I'll do a little bit more. Or he gets a nickname. I'm probably just like, you know, remembering stuff from my own childhood, but back in the day, if you downloaded it, like, turn your cursor into, like, a cute thing and change all your UI stuff, like, you would get, like, 5 million viruses. So I ain't trust all that. I ain't putting on no bonsai buddy. You're gonna just have to stick with a regular old arrow. The hacker. I have a hacker cursor. Beating him at the children's video game. How would that work? Susie is a newcomer to the town. That's kind of her defining feature. It's that she is not originally from here. Interesting. Interesting. I could warm up to that idea of that use of the vessel, because I think the point, or at least what I'm trying to get, one of the things I'm trying to get across in this comic, is that by treating the characters as vehicles for breaking the game rather than as people, you have actually screwed things up way more than you would have otherwise. And if you're gonna treat them as, like, you know, empty vessels to do whatever you want and break things, well, might as well use the empty vessel that was made for you. No, I'm like halfway through painting the backgrounds. It's supposed to be kind of reminiscent of the Mother 1 out of bounds glitch kind of stuff. I'd still like to, like, also, I need to take my stretch break. I'd like us to meet Gaster, at least. I don't need to fight against him. But I think it'd be nice if we saw him, at least. That'd be cool. I would like some answers. I don't need all answers on Gaster, but I'd like a couple. People already voice him like G-Man anyway. I think it would be a little sad if, you know, we never learned more than we know now. Again, we don't have to know everything. I'd just like a few more things. I want to meet the weird Peepaw Man. He was like, hooray, my player, hooray! Yeah. It's this weird state where, like, clearly the Gaster is the one that's, like, facilitated all this, the setup of the game, stuff like that. But at the same time, there's also the sense of, like, oh, he really wants the player to beat the game and change the set ending, which is why I do think that the Deltarune we're currently playing is an adaptation of an earlier iteration of the story, whether that happened a long time ago or it happened recently with Kris or both. It feels like this is adapted this way by Gaster on purpose. And I'd like that kind of laid out. The Roots dungeon correlating with Hometown, I'm sorry, it's a stretch. It's not a good 1-to-1 ratio. Like, people really leaned into, like, Roots theory stuff pre-chapter 5, and then I'm like, oh, that didn't happen. You really gotta... You gotta stretch it for the dungeon to be a 1-to-1 of Hometown. I don't know. I feel like if that was like an originally part of the thing, then Ralsei would know that. He seems to be kind of out of his element when it comes to stuff that's not in the prophecy. But almost done with stretchings. Yeah, I just don't know if the Roots dungeon is actually supposed to correlate to Hometown. It really doesn't quite work. Especially since, like, you know, some of these are related to, like, Undertale things, and some of them are related to Deltarune things, kind of, but not exactly. It doesn't list any particular fate for the knight. It just says the knight makes fountains and the knight fights with the heroes. If there is one, we don't know what it is yet. If there's supposed to be some other thing. Aside from we're supposed to be the knight. Alright, I'll be right back for one more stretch. Already overturned. Could be a symbolic connection. I'm not clear how exactly it works, but... How many hours we got? We have half an hour left and then I'm done. And then I got more stuff to do. I honestly don't know because it seems like Susie's, you know, addition to the town was pretty recent, whereas, or at least, you know, within, say, the last year or so. Whereas stuff with the knight happened, you know, much longer ago. So why would it have been Susie if she's not even around then? If she would have been, like, way younger, for example. I'm just not sure what to do with that. I'll admit, I kind of feel like when people are kind of going in circles and like, oh, so-and-so is supposed to be this role, and so-and-so was supposed to be this role. So-and-so was originally this role. And, like, the point of the story is that the roles are bad. The roles are not good. If you know, Ralsei transitions, it's because we are breaking the roles. If Susie is mixed race, it's breaking the roles. Kris being hero and villain is breaking the roles. Because the roles are bad. If you switch people around, they're still bad. The point is, screw the roles, screw the binary. Become a real person. Not an archetype. Don't switch who is what archetype. The archetypes themselves are bad. Well, at least he believed that the stuff was more recent. We are abounding with mysteries. Susie's upset because her girlfriend in another universe has gone horribly wrong. And she can't really do anything about it. Which sucks. Maybe. I mean, I guess that could be either Carol or the Knight. Although we already have Knight stuff on there. Jackenstein's board is such a weird mess. People are like, it's chess theory. I'm like, that's a flower and a sword. Those aren't chess pieces. Also, I really kind of wanted Carol to be more of like the Light World villain. And intimidating a different way than Dark World stuff. Also, if she's in the Dark World, I want to know then what the heck is going on with Gaster's special list. Why is the people that are on the list they're on? Yeah, the Knight's already on the board. Alright, color. Alright, this time, we're putting this on the correct separate layer. And we're not gonna move, if I can help it. I'm just like glaring at the layers. Like, on the one hand, fighting Carol would be cool. On the other hand, I'm like, I don't know if I necessarily want her in that role. In a Dark World. I don't know. I almost feel like I got kind of like thrown off my game really a lot by like how the festival was handled. So I always kind of figured it would be like a bit more of a climactic deal. Perhaps that was foolish to believe. That would be interesting. I would take a Carol boss fight if Noelle was on the team, because that would be really interesting. Yeah, locking layers is important. It'll certainly help, but then I'm like, oh, why can't I do anything on this layer? Oh, it's locked. I'm gonna turn off her wings again because they always keep getting in the way. I can't see what I'm doing. I imagine I might have to start locking layers more often as I start adding stuff more, because this is gonna get pretty layer heavy as I start adding in color and shading and stuff like that. Much more so than the usual comic pages. But yeah, I would be down for a Carol fight if we had Noelle on the team, because I think that would be the most interesting thing. And I don't feel like her antlers are very aligned there. Oh, close enough. All proceeds go to charity. We'll see. Well, she says that the mage left the party. She doesn't mention it's a fire mage. But she does say the mage left the party. Would be interesting if Ralsei's not in it and Noelle's in it instead. In which case, Ralsei, what are you doing? Where'd you go? Why don't you want to interact with Noelle very much? think Ralsei would be complete. Like, if something like that happened, I don't think Ralsei would be completely absent from Chapter 6. I think it would be like a temporary thing. I would love a four-party member system, but I don't think we'll get it. I think it would be really cool, but it would be, I don't hold out my hope for it, sadly. I mean, I might get surprised. We, you know, all the stuff we got in this chapter was a wonderful surprise that worked really well. It might subvert our expectations. That has been happening. So we might get a four-party party. If we do, I don't think it would last very long. It would just be like for certain sections of the game. But it would be nice to have. I think it would be neato. Neato mosquito. Yeah. I have a weird taste in my mouth. Blah, blah, blah. The taste of proceed. It could be. Anything's possible. I actually don't think that's going to happen because I don't think the circumstances for, like, getting the weird route are going to happen again. Like, I don't think we can start Weird Route 2.0 in, like, Chapter 6. A little bit too complicated. We might not. That would be... I mean, I feel like we have to have her in the party at some point just because she has all that, like, equipment and item dialogue. Like, if she's never going to be in the party again, why does all this exist for her? Why is all that coded in? Yeah, the item dialogue. I don't think it's going to be a thing where, like, oh, Susie has to leave the party because none of her dialogue references Susie. I'm like, yeah, it does. Like, I'm sorry, I can totally see all that dialogue happening with Susie in the party. But, at the very least, seems like she has some participation there. Even the aqua knife. What does she have to say about the aqua knife? That would be interesting. I gotta look up, like, all of Noelle's dialogue for various items and equipment, because there's always, like, interesting things hiding in there. Okay. Just need a few more Susies in the back. Because she's only got a couple of swords she can equip. Weren't, like, some of those, kind of taken away from her, actually. Like, they unequipped them from her. I know, because that's something else, like, she can equip the broken scarf, and then they, like, changed it so no, she can't equip the broken scarf. And this one, she does, in this comic, she does have, where is it? She does have the Gilded Rose, though. Yeah, I don't know. I heard something about, like, originally Noelle was able to equip the broken scarf, and then they changed it so she can't do it anymore. Yeah, I guess also the aqua knife, for that matter. Actually, what's going on with Susie's wing here? Make it connect to her back proper. Choosing the knife didn't affect Kris or Ralsei's attack. Wait. But the aqua knife does affect Kris's attacks. You can get Kris more easily. I figured that was the whole purpose of it. Oh, in terms of animation. Okay. I imagine most of the time it's just for stats. I think her tail's gonna get lost behind Noelle's wing there. She got a big dargan tail. Alright, and wait, we didn't do her up there either. Ah! Susie, stop standing in the back! Only weapon is the black shard. Interesting. Black shard is always so interesting. I guess I'm gonna have to start using Scythemare more often since that's what I picked up for Susie. Is it okay to ask what Susie was saying here? What do you think she's saying? I'm curious what you think. Because you'll find out eventually. I will turn on the text box at some point. What do you think she's saying? Also, whoops, I forgot, her thing again. I'm gay for you too. I mean, I think Weird Root Noelle already knows that too. Okay, so only Jingle Blade and Black Shard? Interesting. Alas, alack. Susie will fix her trust? Oh. Yeah, you tell me the dialogue. I already know the dialogue. I want to know what you think the dialogue is. Keeping all the bubbles here because I don't have to draw over them then. She's obviously upset, though. I haven't watched enough regular show to know that reference. Actually, I really haven't watched any regular show. I mean, I see the memes around all over the place, but I don't have the context. A lot of good Susie voice actors out there, for sure. Huh. Well, what is her dialogue about the Aqua Knife, then? Whether or not she can equip it, like... Does she have anything to say about it? I wonder if that was just an oversight. Interesting. Interesting. Sometimes it's interesting to be like, okay, why was this in particular patched out? Let's do room for 2 more in our party. Because that's nostalgic. Interesting. And I guess she's basically just equating it with Kris then. Which Aqua Knife definitely associated with Kris. I kind of wonder how long, like, Kris has been carrying around a knife. Like, if it's a more recent thing or if they've just been into it since they were a kid. My child, please be careful. Sadly, it will not work. For reasons. Mostly because Weird Root Noelle has clearly rejected the Susie of her timeline, too. So... not much to be done about it. So yeah, okay, her arm's going back there. Yeah, where is everything? I kind of feel like they had it even before the night if Noelle says it was nostalgic. I know, biggest fumble. Noelle, you could have had this. You could have had Big Dragon Susie. Girlfriend. Look what you got instead. Jack Squat. You had the chance. You could have ridden around on our motorcycle and everything. Not even light dragon blazers. Gasp. Everybody is shocked. Okay, back to the wings. We gotta do those on Noelle. Go now and never return. Find out next time on Deltarune. Kris, such a scrungly. Yellow trying to continuously blow themselves up, and Kris is like, I wonder if I should learn a lesson from this. Nah. Of course you like dragon blazers. I wonder if we're ever actually, like, see dragon blazers. We could get, like, what, like, chapter, like, 8 comes up, people are like, oh, it's chapter 8! Holy crap, whoa! And then it's just, like, it's just dragon blazers. It's not anything but dragon blazers, and, okay, go play a smaller scale little RPG and have fun. It's just dragon blazers. And chapter 9 will give you Lord of the Hammer to read. They're similar to Dragon Blazers, but the Mantle game isn't Dragon Blazers. That's kind of why I get, like, weirded out when people, like, compare the two, because I'm like, the Mantle game that Kris is playing in the S-Rank room is not Dragon Blazers. It's called Mantle. Are you weirded out? Ralsei, fucking damn it! Because, yeah, I don't think you can equip the scarf onto Flowery after he dies. I gotta get that scarf myself. I gotta replay again with the friendos. Actually, I still need to go back and finish up my main file with the Flowery fight. Which hopefully will be more doable now. And I won't just suffer a bunch. I don't know what it was. I could not figure out the lily pad attack with Aqua. I kept screwing up with that. But hopefully I can figure it out. Sharona. Orange. I'm falling! Alright, hopefully this will make a whole lot more sense when I color it in later. Orange, yeah, exactly. Margarona. Okay, almost done. Oh my goodness, time is flying by. It's just flying by. Also, I think I need to put some of the halo behind her antlers. It's kind of sticking through there. Oh, Noelle can equip the O gloves? That's fascinating. I mean, oven mitts. She probably bakes a lot. Gotta do it. Alright, trim those a little bit. Yeah, but if you never encountered Pink, you wouldn't know who that was singing. That's why it's secret boss. Because she's a secret boss. You gotta account for that kind of stuff. Alright, maybe I can keep going a little bit into page 6. We're not super far in. Okay. We do get to do the cool page. Another cool page. Yeah, it does seem like we'll have to go to Castletown with Pink. You gotta have Kaka. I'm gonna turn off your halo. Noelle, I can't see with your stupid wings on. Because best darkener. It's true. I don't even know what object they're supposed to be from, like, the flower shop. It's just like, yep, they're the best. Why are you so cute? Welcome back. We're probably going to be finishing up soon. I gotta get lunch for myself. Susie's dancer outfit. Okay. Might get to these. This is all another layered stuff later, but we'll do this one first. Actually, her wings poking in here. I keep forgetting. Everybody's wings are so dang big. We love us big old wings, and they get in the way of everything. They're so big. Aw, cute. Vessel suit should be a duck. Almost like I'll make them even bigger. Rah! She just has the little ones now. She already had big ones earlier. No, because that would be obnoxious to draw. I'm not doing a scary movie parody. When Susie gets wings, she's like, well, good thing I was wearing a tank top already under my jacket. I'm huge. Trying to decide if I have time to... Okay, I guess we'll start in on this. Is going to be a lot of layers on this one. We can do flippity flippities. Floopity floopity! We have to flippity flop in order to draw this proper. And even then. So we love doing things that are upside down, parallel to each other. He loves it. Hope this looks okay colored. Hope it all turns out okay. Oh, thank you. I wanted to be like, okay, this has to be a cool panel of, like, parallels and stuff, so I hope it works. I don't think we'll be able to get to them on the bottom right now. I gotta stop a little soon. We'll probably only barely scratch the surface of page 6. And I haven't done anything with 7 yet. But I did actually get through 8 and 9. Which I'm actually pretty happy with how 9 turned out. Want the big drama moment. I was glad I was able to fit this into, like, technically less than 10 pages, because, yes, you mentioned that. You did say so. Yeah. I said that's cute. I would feel bad, actually, because then I didn't get to finish Eldritch Rune in time, and I would feel bad. Please let me finish Eldritch Rune, Toby. Please. Yeah, I don't want 6 and 7 released together anyway. I think we need some time between them. Here's the next chapter. Here's the rest of the game. Bye! Wait, what? Yeah, I hope we have a little bit more time for chapter 6. I will need it. Okay. can't think of what I can... I'm probably going to have to do like a lot of effects on this bit with Kris, so we'll just get the basics down with them and then we'll do the rest later. This can probably be pretty effects happy. Add gel. Okay, well I'll wait until add gel's done before I declare us done. Yeah, Kris not doing hot. That's why they're doing their thing. My only time in this comic drawing normal root Kris. Sheesh. Okay. I think it's gonna be where we have to stop for now. I'll go back in and fill those guys in later. And we'll probably get back to this next week. I'm sure I won't be done coloring it. Let's go to a page that's... I don't know if we should go back to a previous one that's all done. No, we can stick here. But yes. Next... Stop it! Stop your little flickering. Stop that. I hate that, Photoshop. Ugh. But yes, we are done for now. I got through a decent chunk of pages. Yay! But there'll be more of this next week. I'll probably be coloring on the characters and stuff like that in some form or other. But I'm going to try and make progress on that this week as well. Yay! I hope this panel looks good when it's done, because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on in that. So hopefully it'll be a good one. But yay! Thanks so much for coming. I will do more Chrono Trigger on Friday is the plan. And then again, more of this on next Sunday. So if you want to keep up with this comic's progression, look out for that in the future. And go enjoy the World Cup if you're going to watch that. I got to do a little interview thing and I'll post that when it's up. And otherwise, all kinds of stuff. Get back to drawing, get back to writing, get back to eating a delicious meal. All of those and more. Thank you guys so much for coming. I appreciate you being here and chatting with me. It's always super fun. But yeah, I will see you all next time. Alrighty, see you later.